An apple a day keeps the doctor away is a phrase that appeared in the 19th century and has been heard by many. This phrase advocates for the consumption of apples, which are also known scientifically as Malus domestica. As curiosity was sparked, various studies were then conducted, some specifically analyzing the antimicrobial properties of this fruit. Many of these studies characterized phenolic compounds within apples which displayed antimicrobial activity. Within the experimental study, it was hypothesized that the phenolic compounds extracted from Malus domestica would exhibit antimicrobial activity against Escherichia coli, Salmonella enterica, and Staphylococcus aureus. The objectives of this study were to extract and characterize phenolic compounds from two varieties of apples, Royal Gala and McIntosh. After extracted, an antimicrobial film would then be made with Royal Gala peel extract. The film's antimicrobial effect would then be explored against E. coli, S. enterica, and S. aureus. Within the study, Royal Gala and McIntosh apples were obtained from a local grocer. The apples were washed and then harvested into various components: the peel, the seeds and core, and lastly, the apple flesh. These compounds were blended with a kitchen blender and then soaked in 85% methanol for 20 minutes. After soaking, the samples were homogenized and then centrifuged. The supernatant was then obtained and was concentrated by rotary evaporation. After rotary evaporations, the samples were reconstituted in water and solid phase extraction was performed. These samples were then analyzed using UPLC to detect and quantify catechin, chlorogenic acid, and epicatechin, which are common phenolic compounds found within apples. The samples containing the highest amounts of these compounds were then filter-sterilized and observed using disk diffusion and minimum inhibitory concentration against E. coli, S. enterica, and S. aureus. The apple sample that showed the most antimicrobial activity was then incorporated into an edible film made with chitosan and acetic acid. Within UPLC analysis, all apple samples resulted in the detection of catechin, chlorogenic acid, and epicatechin. Catechin and epicatechin were observed at 280 nanometers with retention times of 2.3 and 2.5 minutes. These samples were quantifiable, while chlorogenic acid was observed at 324 nanometers with a retention time of 2.31 minutes. Chlorogenic acid was not quantifiable as the sample amounts were below the quantification limit. Within Figure 1, chromatograms are shown displaying the results of these components within a Royal Gala peel sample. When observing Table 1, it can be visualized that Royal Gala had larger amounts of catechin and epicatechin than McIntosh. The Royal Gala peel and then seeds and core samples resulted in the highest amounts of these compounds, so they were used within the evaluation of antimicrobial properties. As seen in Figure 2, observation of disk diffusion plates after 24 hours indicated that the peel sample, along with the seeds and core sample, exhibited antimicrobial activity. Within Table 2, the measured zone of inhibitions are present, displaying that the peel sample was the most effective against all types of bacteria. When the minimum inhibitory concentration plates were read at 24 hours, the apple samples, both core and seeds and peel, did not display antimicrobial activity. However, catechin, chlorogenic acid, and epicatechin were displayed using this assay and resulted in no bacterial growth within 100, 50, and 25 mg per liter concentrations. All further concentrations resulted in the growth of bacteria. When the chitosan edible film was made containing the peel extract, disk diffusion was used and the plates were observed at 24 hours. Within the samples, no zone of inhibition was present, indicating that the film did not display antimicrobial properties. In conclusion, the detection and extraction of catechin, epicatechin, and chlorogenic acid was successful within Royal Gala and McIntosh apples through UPLC. Within disk diffusion and MIC, it can be concluded that Royal Gala peel and seeds and core samples exhibited antimicrobial activity against E. coli, S. enterica, and S. aureus. Within the generation of the apple film, no antimicrobial activity was present. Within future research, it is recommended that methods be altered to optimize the conducted research. Once completed, additionally optimizing the methods for the generation of an edible film for use in food packaging could be conducted. The use of this edible film within actual food packaging could then later be proposed. I would like to thank Dr. Jessica Livingston, Marla McKenzie, Dr. Michael Gibson, and Crystal McBadgen for their insightful feedback, guidance, and expertise throughout the development and execution of this project.